Hey guys, just a quick update here and answer some of the questions that I'm sure are coming up now for those of you that are interested in this kind of stuff. First of all, let's just take a look at this is the well itself. Again, there's the steps coming down and going in. They come on down and around and they're all the way down to there now. Now that deepest hole right there in the very center is right at 11 foot. Right at 11 foot. I mean exactly 11 foot. It's like 11 foot ½ inch. Okay. And we're going to get flash floods here. And by the way, all this is being recorded ahead of time. In other words, when this video gets uploaded, I did it all the way back in January of 2013. The very beginning weeks of January 13. I'm now 4.5 days, 4.5 days, about 36 hours worth of digging, and that's where I'm at. Now, in the first video I mentioned, if you don't want to hand dig a well, you can use a PVC pipe, and take and put a coupling on the end of the PVC pipe and then start drilling your way in here into the ground instead of hand digging. The only difference is, however big your pipe is, here's some of the fruit trees. Okay. But anyway, however big your pipe is, that's as much water as you're going to hold. So, say you have a 2-inch pipe and you dig down 25-30 feet and you hit water, then you go another 5 feet. Well, you're only going to have 5 foot of water and 2 inches diameter, so not very much water as far as gallons. You're gonna have to give me a minute here to get up in here. That's all growing up. Okay, right in here, I don't know, hopefully you'll be able to see it in the video, but this is one of my wells. But that's what I did here with the PVC pipe. I just dug down about 10 foot and hit water. And let me just get up here for a second. There's the well. Okay, and you'll see water in well, in permaculture they call these swells, but I don't call them swells. Over there's the fruit trees. Okay. So there's the well, and what we're standing on is a dam, and there's the pond. That's one of the overflow pipes. But because of the pond here, at 5 foot I hit water over there, over here, where the well is. Hopefully you can see the well right there. Okay, just back up over the dam. There's the pond. Okay. So, you don't have to physically get out here and hand dig a well if you don't want to. However, if you want year-round water, you're going to have to hand dig a well. These piped ones, such as the PVC pipe well I have over there that I just showed you, with the well hooked up to it, it's great and all, but during a drought year, where the water comes down, the water table itself comes down, and the pond comes down. During those kind of years, you may just run out of water. Okay, we're coming back over here to the well. So you don't really want to run out of water. That's the key here. So how do I know that this well is going to hold water starting at about 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 feet? Well, the fact of the matter is, let me get turned around here. There's the well. And right up there is the dam wall to the pond. And if I'm able to, when I go to edit this video, I'll put the map up. But behind that dam is a trough or swell. Then there's a hill where the trees are growing. Then there's going to be another trough or another swell, and then there's going to be another hump where the trees are going to be growing. And this is going to continue to happen, boom, 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 till you get all the way up into here, and then the final swell will be basically from the truck all the way down here, and it'll tie into the bottom pond. And that bottom swell will be about 5 foot deep. And the thing is, at first, after it's dug, this well won't have water at 5 or 6 feet or 10 or even 10 feet. It just won't. But as the rain falls, whether it's 1 inch a year or 500 inches a year, doesn't matter, it'll end up in those troughs or in those swells. And it will sit there. 50% of it will evaporate into the atmosphere. Okay, the other 50% is going to go down into the ground. Of that 50%, 50% of that 50% is going to get sucked up by the trees and the other various plants, and then the other 25%, or the other 50% of that 50%, is going to go down into the table, to the water table, which will eventually work its way into here. So if we come down into the well itself, I'm going to show you. See these cracks in the ground all the way around? Doesn't matter where you look, there's cracks everywhere. Okay, that is what the ground does under the ground, where you can't see. Here's the roots, which go down to about 4 foot, and that's basically where they stop, is at 4 foot. There's a root right there, about 4'6". But anyway, that's about as far as they go down. Now the trees go down a whole lot farther. They tap the actual water. But these cracks and stuff, once the water's in the ground, it travels around in these cracks, and then eventually end up in this well. Okay, this is only one part of the story. What most people don't know, because we're used to farmland where you just have open pasture land where they till it up and they are literally destroying the earth on a daily basis. They don't know it and they don't realize it, just like I didn't until I really got to praying to Father and asking him how his creation works and all these kind of things. Well, first and foremost, you got to have a ground cover. Okay, if you don't have a ground cover, 50% of any water, even under the ground, even 4 or 5 foot under the ground, is going to get wicked to the surface and then evaporate. It's going to dry out. Okay, 50% of the moisture, even in the ground. That's why you see all this ground cover everywhere, except right here where I'm working, because I keep bringing the tractor in to get these huge piles of dirt out of the well. I pile it up here, I get the tractor and I send it off. I'm going to take this clay, because now I'm down, as you can see, everything is now clay. Okay, dirt, clay, and this clay all the way down. I've hit lots and lots of rocks, but I just use the pick and pick my way around them until I can pop them out of there, or I break them if they're too big. But anyway, I'm going to take this clay, and I'm piling it up way over there somewhere. You can't see it from here because of the trees. But that's going to all be used for an adobe or earth home. Okay, self-sufficient, passive solar, passive heating, passive cooling, all that kind of stuff. That's what this clay will all be used for. Also, when it rains, and it's we're fixing to have flash flooding for the next 2 days here. When it does rain, and that's good because we've been in almost a 2-year-long drought. And what's good about digging this well now is when I hit water right now, that means there's going to be water there even after 2 years of drought. Okay, people that use these PVC pipes like I showed you up there, and they dig down there and they hit water, and then they go on down a few more feet to get down below the water table. If they're doing that in a rainy season, chances are when the drought hits, the well's going to go dry. Okay. I'll get in a lot more detail about things and about Father's creation and about His earth and how He's formed it to provide everything you need. Okay, He said He's going to meet you out in the wilderness. You got to come out of the cities. You got to come out of the towns, out of the corporations. Stop participating in the national banking corruption, and all the other things that are part of Mystery Babylon, and come out of her, get out in the wilderness where you're going to be safe while the plagues come upon Mystery Babylon for all her sin, all her corruption, all her oppression upon her people, and all the various things. Also, if you look down in here real quickly, when this fills up with water, and it will fill up with water during this they're calling for 3 to 5 inches of rain here in the next 2 days, which is way too much after a drought. It will not soak into the ground. But anyway, it'll fill up with water. And what I do is I take my shovel and my bucket, I go down there and I stand on the step above the water, and I take the shovel, and you can tell that's kind of got an angled shovel. It's not a straight up and down shovel. The handle is straight up and down, and the shovel part, the metal part, kicks out at an angle. And I use it, and I dip it below the water, and I pick it up and put it in the bucket until I fill up the bucket about 3/4 of the way, so it's not too heavy. And I walk back up the steps and then take it over there and dump it. Go back down there and keep on doing it. That's how I get the water out of the well after it rains, okay? For those of you that need to know that are going to be hand digging wells or whatever, you need to know that. So anyway, this is a brief update, guys. Like I said, that's right at 11 foot right now. That's the deepest spot down there. And as I'm digging right now, I should not hit water till about 18 feet or better. Okay? That's about my guess right now, 18 feet or better because of this drought. But once the troughs, or once the swells are in, as the permaculture rule likes to call it, once they're in, and once I begin to get the ground cover, the trees covered, and then get the swells themselves, the water troughs, covered, okay? They need to be covered too, or they're going to evaporate into the atmosphere. But there are plants that love to take over the surface of water. You got to create a covering over that as well. If you live in a very dry climate, such as where I'm at, or where you get a lot of droughts or very little rain, then what rain falls, you want to make sure it does not depart from your land. You want it to get down in the ground, into the ground table, so the trees and plants and everything else can use that soil, as well as the wells. Real quickly, and then I'm going to end this video. Let's walk back here. This is the overflow. If we ever get torrential rain, it comes down through here, and it fills off into this rain creek. And I'll show you on the map, if I can, when I edit the video. I'll show you a picture of where we're at and what creek we're at. Now this creek, at 18 feet, has water in it. There's water over there, and there's even water right there. Okay, at 18 feet. That's 18 feet below the surface. Okay? Now, this creek is not running, as you can tell, at all. Once I'm done with this land, and all the troughs and everything's in place, even after a 2-year drought, that creek will still be flowing. Okay? You can take a desert, guys, an absolute desert, and turn it into a living oasis. Okay? Father's creation is amazing. And the way He established things in His kingdom is the earth. Okay? His kingdom is over the earth. But His kingdom is the earth. What man does is he comes in here and he mines the earth. He takes all of his resources and all of his energy and redistributes it and pushes it around and uses it for wars, to conquer and to kill. They program people to consume, to be materialistic, to buy up every material thing. You got to have this knick-knack. You got to have this newest technology, this newest phone, this newest computer, this newest Bluetooth, or this or that or whatever. And they constantly program you to buy. Oh, you don't have enough money? Here's a credit card. Buy. Oh, you got $50,000, $100,000 in debt now? Okay, here's a consolidation. Now keep buying. Buy. Okay? That's the world. The world is all about consumption. It's all about a central banking system, corporations tied to it, and then the puppets, which are the governments, to make everything look legit. Father is about the earth and about people. Permaculture basically has three ethics: care for the earth, care for people, and the return of the surplus while having checks and balances on population and consumption. I'll get into more details on those things later. They're missing one criteria. This is why I say permaculture almost fits Father's rules. Almost. It's an anarchy form of government. In other words, there's no room for government in permaculture. And I agree with that. There should never be room for government, because Father is the government and there is no other government. But the one thing, the one ethic, the number one ethic that permaculture lacks is to trust Father in all things, to seek Father at all times, no matter what it is that you set out to do. Okay? That should be the number one ethic, and then you should have care for the earth, care for people, and then return of surplus, so that the land can build up and prosper and be abundant. This one piece of land, just between that dam and this well, just in that little section, the straight narrow path right here, just this little spot of the whole thing, will provide enough food for all of the local communities in this area, and probably enough for the entire county when it's done, 4 to 5, 6, 7 years from now. Also, the way I've dug this out, again, you don't have to have the steps. Okay, you don't have to do that. You can use ladders, or you can dig holes literally in to the wall as you go down, so that you can just use a rope and put your feet in the holes and go on down, or climb on up. Okay, you don't have to have steps. How you dig your well is completely up to you. How deep you go is completely up to you. Everything is completely up to you. Okay, if you want to start asking questions, the answer is most likely, generally, usually, yes. Okay, try it, see what happens. If it doesn't work, try something else. Okay, there is no right answer when it comes to going back to Father's kingdom and to His creation. Okay, so anyways, guys, I love you guys. Get in the Word, stay in the Word, and get the Word in you. The 3 most important sentences you'll ever hear. It's important, guys. There's plagues that are coming, and are already here in some regards, but are coming on Mystery Babylon. And if you're in those cities, which is where the corporations and Federal Reserve banking systems, credit and checks and all those things, corporations and government are all at, you're going to be participating in our plagues. They're going to come down upon you, and you're most likely going to perish in the plagues, and you never had to. But you refused to listen to the word, which said to come out of her, my people, lest you participate in her plagues. Okay? Participate in her sin, or partake in her sins, and participate in her sins and partake of her plagues. So it's all in your guys' hands. You guys do whatever it is you will to do. I'm telling you that if you're going to get out into the wilderness and out of the cities and out of the nonsense, you're going to have to dig a well. One way or another, you're going to have to dig a well. How deep you go depends on where you live, how much rain you get, and all these kind of things. But no matter where you live, plan on droughts, because sooner or later you're going to get a drought. Sooner or later you're also going to get a flood. That's why I've got the overflow over there where it can all flow out of here. During a year where we just get entirely too much rain and the ground table's at 0, meaning the water's all the way to the top of the well, and then at that point it goes out the overflow right there. Alright guys, I'm going to get off here. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. And peace be with you. Shalom to all. I'll update you when I can. It's going to be a while because after this rain gets here, I'll be down there for a couple days just getting water out. So I won't count those hours up. Okay, right now I'm at 36 hours and 11 foot deep at the max, right there at the very deepest hole there. It's 36 feet. But again, the well itself will be right where the edge of the steps is. Okay, so it's just going to be about 5 foot around when it's done. Alright guys, talk to you later. Peace.